Hola, amigos, and welcome back to another episode of La Vida Verde podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Human. We are here at Finca Vida Verde, and it's a beautiful day. My guest today is, and an honor to have her, is Marcela Mora. Marcela is a native Costa Rican, part Chorotega Indigenous woman. She's a female entrepreneur. She's the founder and director of the Biomanagement Group, and the former president of the Alegria Homeowners Association. It's going to be an amazing conversation, and I'm really looking forward to this. So here we go, and I hope you enjoy. Marcela Mora, it is an honor to have you at the Vida Verde podcast. Thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm. And you're living in this area down in La Cubia still?
Yes,
Okay.
I have been living in La Cubilla for almost 3 years.
3 years?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I want to start because I think one of the things that's really interesting to me is you're one of our first Indigenous guests, and I know you're not full, you don't identify as full Chorotega, but I know you did grow up with some Chorotega
Ancestors.
ancestors, and so I'm curious, like, would you share a little bit about the Chorotega? Because I think here in Costa Rica, in this zone, there's not much. We don't know much about you don't hear much about the indigenous people of this area. So would you be willing to share some about your people?
Yes, of course. And I also would like to know, well, your perspective from US and, uh, you know, um, yeah, so Costa Ricans in general, we are a mix between indigenous and Spanish. That is the result of the colonization and inquisition. But we are still having, well, in the books, it say like around 8 tribes that are 100%. They are nomads and they are native. But unfortunately, like in every other country, I think they have been segregated, and it had not been enough research to actually update how many tribes are, and some of them they even don't speak Spanish. So yeah, I am very passionate about this topic, and is why yes, but I do have indigenous heritage, and also my from one side of my family, my ancestors are from the Chorotega, who they are from Guanacaste,
Okay.
Guanacaste area, and they don't have a lot of. I would say they have been more, um, like you say, distributed. It is not like a real like tribe, or you know, we say place geographically where the Chorotegas are, but we know that is in Guanacaste.
That general
Most of the
area.
people.
Okay. And interesting, yeah, you said about the, in Costa Rica here, because I know you were asking about the perspective from the United States, because I was born in the United States, and one of the things that, the native people there, they don't identify as not all, you can't say this, but I think there's this kind of identity that there's somehow that they're, and rightfully so, different from the United States, that they're separate. You're separate entities. I'm curious, do you think Costa Rica, the native peoples here, and I know you can't speak for all of the tribes or all of the people, but in general, do you think that they're more integrated into Costa Rica and they see themselves as Ticos? Like, do you think there's a pride of being Tico even within the indigenous community?
Well, I think in the last years they have been like they were really protect about their customs, and I am talking about the tribes specifically. So and with good reason, but I think now they have been we some of the tribes have been opened the doors for tourism from Ticos, and we can go and talk and learn. And of course, every tribe also is different. It's not like a generalized, like you cannot say like all of them, like have the same, I would say, yeah, customs and language and everything. So, but they're, at least with the tribes I had been talking, are the Bribris and Maleku,
Hmm.
and they are also one part of like the South Pacific. Yeah, so they don't feel, they don't feel recognized by the government. They feel like segregated. They still feeling a little bit, you know, not recognized.
Put aside,
See,
yeah, like
yeah,
they're not fully, and yeah, interesting. And so a lot of the native people here are. Would you say there? I mean, in the U.S., there was reservations created. Is it
yeah.
something similar?
Exactly, yes. No, no, I think like not too long ago, like I don't know, like 2 months ago, something like that, and we did this interchange between Lakota,
Mm.
South Lakota, I
Hmm.
think, and the Malepu, and also it was sponsored by person from US, and he did this connection, and I just could participate in one of them, and it was just so beautiful to hear. Beautiful, and at the same time, it's the kind of the same pattern that happened in the world. It was more about healing and forgiveness and how to move forward and how to, we would say, I will not say fight because I don't like that word. It will be more like how recognize the human rights that that they deserve, and they don't lose, what is important for them. And I think just being here, heard, sorry, is important. So
Hmm.
so it wasn't really like, it was actually a very beautiful, we say, connection, more like about peace and love and healing. So I love that. I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
So my heart was
yeah. And,
fulfilled.
and so you were born where? You were born here in Costa Rica, which you're also our first native Tica. You're Tica.
Uh-huh.
Tico, I guess you would say in general, but you are also our first Costa Rican guest. And so yeah, this area is really interesting because it's a very international area where a lot of extranjeros, but so it's curious for me, and I think other people too. Like, what is yeah? I mean, how do you feel about all this like culture mixing going on, and like how do you feel about all these expats coming to your country, your native country, and I mean, honestly, like is it, do you see it as a really beautiful thing, or do you see it as like like, I don't know, not so much?
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about development because I had seen the development also in the, when as a way of destruction. Is that a word in
Yeah,
English? Okay.
destruction.
So definitely is a fear out there, but at the same time, I would say, um, Costa Rica is also attracting a number of people who are very well connected with nature, and they really care about, the food and the lifestyle that is very, I would say, not just healthy, but also very balanced. And I love to see that. I love to see that the tourists or the people who are coming, they come with a good heart to actually to bring in a step to take. And I think when I see that, and also it make a positive impact in general because the economy become, like the agriculture, or for example, when you use more pesticides. So people are actually demanding eating in a different way, even it's organic and everything. So it creates a positive impact as well. So I think every every person who is coming with that uh heart, that intention, I feel very happy to, yeah,
Uh,
that.
yeah,
uh,
no, yeah, thank you for being open. And it's one thing I love about Costa Rica is it does feel like a very welcoming country in general. The culture and the people are very like under open doors kind of. And like as you explained, not all people are the same. So like an expat from, this guy might be different, is totally different from this person. So we judge people based on their characters, not on where they're from necessarily. So I really resonate with that. That's really yeah, that's really interesting. Because you're right, there are people like setting up, like I don't know, there's a Krispy Kreme that just opened in Escazú, and I don't know that no offense to the Krispy Kreme and the huge condos, but I don't know that they have the health and the consciousness of the earth in mind necessarily. So thank you for acknowledging that.
yes, yes, I mean, the beach, you can see that is a really good example, like a lot of big buildings and
Right.
condominiums and things like nature just remove and just ocean view.
Right. And so, where were you born? You were born in this area, or?
I grew up really close to this area. My mom was a teacher initially, and she worked in a really rural area. So it's not that far from here in the mountains. So I am getting used to like similar weather and kind of like also you say habitat.
Mhm.
So yeah, it has been easy for me to get used to.
This area.
Yes.
Yeah, because Costa Rica is so diverse.
Yeah.
For those of you who haven't been here or spent time here, it's, I mean, there's the high, you've got like areas where strawberries and apples grow up in Cerro de la Muerto, Cerro de la Muerte, which is like, I don't know, like, I don't know, 3,000 meters or for the, like 15 and almost 1,500 feet or so, almost 10,000. What would that be? No, for them, like, yeah, like almost 10,000 feet or more. And then you've got down here where we're at 1,500 feet or 500 meters, which is like considerably warmer. But then you've also got everything in between. You've got the beach, which is at 0 degrees.
Yeah.
And the higher you go up in the mountains, you get all these different cool microclimates. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
It's a really small country and very diverse in climate
Yeah.
wise.
Yes, it is. Okay. Let's see. What about so you've been living in La Covia, but you are a lot owner in Alegria,
Mm.
which is one of our sister communities across the street. We've had a number of Alegria members on our show. And you were voted in as the first president of the Homeowners Association, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Love that. I love that. Well, and as I know you, I know you're very, qualified to do this. You're very organized, you're very well spoken. So what was your experience like? Did somebody else nominate you? Did you actually like say, I want to take on this position?
No, no, it was more like it came organically. I was very involved in so we start with like, there's called like governance circle. So Alegria community, it's so interesting because so the neighbors, we start with a WhatsApp, and we never see, we didn't see each other, we didn't, and not in person, like we didn't know who the other person is.
Or really even
So WhatsApp.
or even hear their voices necessarily because they were
Exactly.
just a picture and some words.
Yes, exactly. So anyway, they emerged is like some circle. Well, it's the same that committee, so commission, and so this committee, that it was the governance circle, and I start participating and getting involved, and they were really supportive in, and I feel very, I would say, like they really want me to be part of, like, having an opinion, and so then they decide. I mean, they make the poll for voting, and they decide that. But I just want to clarify that being the president doesn't mean, it's like we always talk about, like, we were the same,
Equal.
equal. Yes. So it was just, we say a nomination, but yeah. So
But it's what's the word? It's like it means something that they nominated you, like a female Tika Indigenous woman, from Costa Rica as the president. Like I think that's a nice thing that like
oh, definitely, for sure. Yeah, definitely. It was very nice. Yeah, I am really grateful for everything that I have learned. I mean, it was a learning process for everyone.
you're a very brave woman for taking this on too, because particularly at the beginning, you guys are just figuring out what you want to do. The Alegria was very unique in that way that they kind of handed you the reins, right? I think the way that they set it up was the board had some basic guidelines and rules, but then at some point, once there was enough sales, and this is what happened, they handed it everything over to the owners. And
Yes.
so what was that like, kind of like inherit you had to start, like, was there any kind of structure at all? Did you have to create literally
We are still working in that.
the guidelines, the bylaws, everything?
We are still, like, even the board right now is working in that, like, foundation. Yes. So basically it was, you know something that I love about the concept in Alegria, that it was different a bit about being sustainable. It was that it was regenerative, which is more like giving. And I was in love of the concept, and the first moment. And then the thing is that, yeah, so for being different in that way, we are trying to figure out things. And especially, uh they are, I don't know, like 38 different countries. And is we Costa Ricans, like, have this joke that say, like, is they are, it's the United Nations. So it's kind of the challenge of, is the beautiful diverse, but at the same time is a challenge, because everybody comes with different, background, different point of view, even in the concept. Maybe the concept, I take it in this way, but maybe other person, means something different. Even the why we choose, alegría is also different. So it's a, I think, I mean, it's somehow, I am very happy to be part of this creation, because it's challenging, but it's very beautiful to see um, the intentions, and how can we figure this out
Yeah.
in harmony, hopefully in the best agreement possible, like in the best interest of all of us. I mean, and I think I would say main nature. That is my main, always, like, concern. I care
Nature.
nature.
Yeah, taking care of the earth. And I think, it's interesting because that land in particular was heavily eroded cattle land. I mean, it just really wasn't managed like a farm. And this is the interest for me, stewardship, where stewardship really has its place, is because if you just let that regenerate, it might take some years. Yes, nature would reclaim it, but it would take a lot of years for all that soil to rebuild and for all those layers. But when you have, like, if they have the right people stewarding land, like, there's 120 families, like you said, everybody comes from a slightly different perspective, so maybe not everybody, but in general, the people I talk to from Alegria,
Mm-hmm.
they have this common goal of they mostly are very concerned about doing the right thing for nature, eating organic. Like you said, Costa Rica, and last I read, Costa Rica was one of the highest pesticide users
Yes.
in the Western world, and also has the highest rate of stomach cancer
Yes.
in the Western world. So, the more organic soil that we can build, there's a lot of regeneration to be done here.
And also that has been a consequence also uh, the survival experience of also the farmers and the people how to make income and what is in the market, right? And again, if people are coming and the high demand is like organic and everything, so people will start thinking, okay, I can actually have an income. How to, how to start in this. So has this influence, and I think what happened with pesticides and everything, which is really sad. You can just drive to the
Lona.
Caribbean,
Oh yeah.
and I went to Bocas del Toro this past December, and just saw that board like Panama and going. Oh, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just so sad because it's this pineapple
And banana.
factory and people are in misery, really like misery, and also like the water they will consume is contaminated, everything is like,
Right.
and unfortunately the people don't have enough resources to actually do something about it, and people are so simple that even they don't know is something that is is that hard, it can be damaged their body and is causing so much suffering. So
Mm.
I feel very, I would say, like when I see this, and it's why when I started like pineapples, okay, I will know, I will buy just organic pineapples
Yeah.
and bananas the same and everything because it's generating, and hopefully someday these big companies can actually, we as a community and people can say, we don't want this, we want something better,
Yeah.
and we don't want these consequences because not everybody see that as scenario.
Yeah,
And
exactly, and that's one of the interesting thing. Costa Rican people and farmers, especially the campesinos, like you said, they're just trying to survive mostly. They don't do cattle because they
yeah,
like killing cows or even really like cows. Even they're doing it because it's a financial. It's what they have available. It's what they know, or the pesticides are just like it's what's available. When you talk to people, oftentimes they're very open. Okay, yeah, they're very interested and open to trying something new,
yeah,
but they don't exactly they need access, they need resources, they need help, they need support. And that's one thing it's interesting for me about, I there's a lot of criticism, and I love that we're having this conversation because there's so much conversation. There's so much whenever I tell people that whenever I post like on Facebook or something that I live in Costa Rica, I inevitably am going to hear at least one person call me a colonizer,
hmm,
and I'm not a colonizer. I'm an immigrant to this country. I have some, we're all bringing our own experience to this thing, and I think it really is all of us. That's one thing I love about this area is that we are all working. I feel like we're all working together. Like there's some people that have resources, there's some people that have knowledge, there's some people that have have experience, and there's other people that have land, and when we can all work together, then we have a chance at like kind of fixing this thing. And I think that's a really beautiful thing.
is definitely very beautiful. I think they put the good intention out there. Most of the people I'm I know, I mean, they really have good intentions for you know to come and live here, and I you know is welcome for everyone, and I think it's helping also the economy, and the economy, this area specifically where we are talking about is very rural, so a lot of people just, I mean, even women, they couldn't find, a job just to be like a house, um, housewife, and but now it's this opportunity, and I think that is why. So I am creating this commission that is going to create this bridge with the municipality to start integrated, what, that everybody is having a benefit, not just some people. Like, uh, I will explain this better. So let's say, people can get trained, like they don't know how to, for example, how to cook a vegetarian or vegan, and they can have an income, and they have already a population of clients that it will be they would be willing to buy that product, but they don't know how to do it. So
Right.
that
Training.
training and that also interchange between, Spanish and English, and how, you are learning Spanish, and the other people are learning English. I think in this area, people are very, very like nice. Like they're hard. I mean, really, San Mateo people, I love them. They are very humble,
Yeah.
and they are very grateful with just, you know, small details. Like you go and, you go to the public school and bring something, and all the kids are just so happy. And so I think it's those, even you don't have to do a lot, you just do small things. um and I think if they feel, I mean, everybody still integrate, we can create, I mean, we can be even an example, I would say, for the world, hopefully. And
Yeah.
I think
So
big.
you're creating this committee to like kind of to be a voice and to bridge the people. I love that idea. Yeah, we've been working with the municipality of San Mateo for like 12 years. We went to them when they wanted to set up GMOs here. Monsanto, Dow Chemical, DuPont
Uh-huh.
wanted to set up in a factory in this area.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, this is like, and we went to the municipality and they were like, we explained to them, like maybe 4 or 5 of us from Ecovia and Tacotal,
Mhm.
and explained to them. They were so open. They were just like, really? Wow. Like, no, we don't want that. You're right. And
Yeah.
like the next week they banned GMOs. So, um, and speaking, and also you've also started a company called the Biomanagement Group,
Mhm.
and that which is also you're focusing on Costa Rican labor and integrating Costa Rican labor into the local
Exactly. Yes.
workforce.
Exactly. Yes. I am. Well, I start in this area working in real estate, and more like outside of the eco villas, because a lot of farmers, they don't speak English.
Right.
They don't. Also, they wanna, they have inherent some land that they feel like they are not going to use. So I was trying to help them to to sell some land, and they can have some money to do, also to produce something that they want to. And now I am, more in property management, which is going to be a high demand here, because a lot of people are just going to live just for some months, and they need a trustworthy person who can take care of their house, and everything. But also I, integrate with an architect and an interior designer. And these are, we are all Costa Ricans, and from the community of Alegria is an electromechanic, and is a holistic therapist as well. So we are like a network, and then we can recommend each other, or we can work together, and giving this space for also Costa Rican professionals, and not like feel like, we don't have opportunity also to have an income and generate an income here.
Yeah, because there's, I think, well, I think there's a number of reasons why I can see that divide. I think people feel more comfortable with people maybe of their own culture for various reasons. The language thing is a big one. I think but you know, and also like different aesthetics, you know, when it comes to building, like the you know, the campesino Tico aesthetic is very different from, like, say, someone from New York City and what
yes.
they're gonna want. And this area is attracting such a diverse group of people that, like, yeah, I think they're, and it seems to be, you know, like, it's funny because that Alegria particularly, it's like you've got people that are building natural, very
Yes.
humble natural houses,
Yes.
all the way to, like,
Yes.
you know, highly designed mansions and,
Exactly.
and whatnot. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Something really nice about I mean, Costa Ricans, I say that we are willing to learn and we are willing to adapt, you know. So I feel like if that piece is missing, we can find a way to see how we learn. And so to give opportunity, I feel like the main thing for me, this is from all my heart, like the desire I have is that this area develops in a balanced way, and for that we need also the local government,
Mhm.
and we need people with the same vision, because what I got in love with this coming here is exactly that, you know, nature and a clean river. And, you know, and yes, you can either decide to make a very simple house, or you can decide to build something bigger and more luxury. But I think with the same intention, that not damage this, you know, this we say ecosystem, you know, especially, you know, we, just for people to know, I mean, we have congos, we have how do you say, capuchins, I mean, we have like tepesquintles, we have like a lot of you know, even macas. I have seen macas, and people are thinking like, oh, we can plant some
For sure.
trees so they can come over. And for birds, a lot of big diverse of birds and plants. So that is, I think, my my best desire for this place. And I know people from San Mateo are very humble to even, as I say, like to learn, and we can be all included and integrate and as a one community.
Yay.
County.
I think it's so beautiful. Thank you for being that bridge for us, Marcy. One of those bridges, because
Yeah, yeah,
there's other
yeah,
people doing this work, but
yeah.
you're doing a lot of it. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. I think there's more I would love to talk about, but we'll maybe do another episode sometime. So thank you, Marcela Mora. My name is Matthew Human. I'm the host of the La Vida Verde podcast. Thank you for joining us. You can follow us on La Vida Verde podcast on YouTube. You can please hit the subscribe button so you can follow us whenever we have a new, we release videos weekly. And we're also on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts, so you can listen from wherever you are. Follow us on Instagram, Finca_Vida_Verde. And follow, if you want to support this podcast and see more content like this, you can get us on Patreon and throw some bucks our way. Patreon.com, and it's La Vida Verde podcast. That's it for this episode. Thank you, Marcela, again one more time. Yeah, I'm really grateful. And we'll see you next time. Pura vida.